Hi, everyone. Welcome to Module 11. In this module, you'll be asked to complete peer reviews for two classmates who have written their editorials and posted them to the discussion board. You'll be asked to complete the quiz on fragments, run-on sentences, and semicolons. Then you'll be asked to use peer review to revise your editorial on water. And finally, you'll be asked to submit the editorial for grading. So you'll see in the Module 11 discussion that we're completing part 2. And in part 2, you're asked to choose 2 editorials written by your classmates. Please spread out your feedback so that everyone receives feedback from classmates. There is a list of bulleted questions to answer. And so on your classmates' editorials, you should provide your answers to these questions. So we're looking to see what you think the main idea or thesis is of the piece. This will help your classmate determine if their main idea is coming through clearly. Next, look at each of the paragraphs that your classmate has written. Do these paragraphs have a single focus that supports the thesis? Or do you see areas where your classmate may need to separate their paragraphs into focused paragraphs? Then consider how the paragraphs are organized. Do they logically follow each other? Do you feel that your classmate should add transition words? You could provide some examples. Then determine what you think is the purpose of the piece. So is the purpose to inform an audience about an issue, or is it to persuade audiences to do something, or is it both? And how can you tell? What evidence do you see of the author considering the intended audience? So do you feel that the author is addressing a college-age audience? Are they spelling out words completely? Does the author define complex terms? Do they clearly explain ideas so that someone who is unfamiliar with this topic will be able to understand it? Then, does the author need to add anything to make the meaning clear? If so, what should they add? Do you see if the author is repeating anything? So sometimes people may over rely on one word. You might suggest some synonyms if you see a word being repeated. And then what ideas do you have to help the author improve this piece? So please make sure that you give positive comments as well as constructive criticism so that your classmates will be open to your ideas. Then you're asked to complete a quiz on fragments, run-on sentences, and semicolons. There are some resources in the module to help you with these topics. You'll see a website and some videos. And when you begin the quiz, you'll be provided with a sentence or a short passage, and you'll be asked if the example includes a fragment, a run-on sentence, a misused semicolon, or if there are no errors. So here is one of the questions that you'll see in the quiz itself. There's this sentence here, and we're trying to determine, is this sentence a fragment? Is it an incomplete idea? Is that a run-on sentence where we're missing punctuation or we're using the wrong punctuation? Do we see a misused semicolon or do we see no errors? And so I'm going to read this example to you so I can talk about it with you. So here we read, humor is one of the highest forms of human communication. It can serve to increase intimacy, show compassion and understanding, break tension, make this unspeakable speakable, and in general, bring people together in laughter in a way nothing else can. So that was a lot of words, right? I'm a bit out of breath after reading that. So do you see an error here? Do you think this is a fragment? So is it incomplete? Are we missing something? Seems like it makes sense on its own, right? It doesn't seem like it's missing something. Is it a run-on sentence? So do you feel like it runs on and it's missing punctuation? You should say yes, because you notice that I kind of ran out of breath while reading this. Sometimes that can be a clue that we have a run-on sentence. We want to read it again slowly and try to figure out where one complete idea ends and another begins. And so I'm going to read this again to you. Humor is one of the highest forms of human communication. So right there, that's a complete idea, right? Humor is one of the highest forms of human communication. We need a period right here. And then we start a new sentence by capitalizing the I here on it. It can serve to increase intimacy, show compassion and understanding, break tension, make the unspeakable speakable, and in general, bring people together in laughter in a way that nothing else can. So this is a lengthy sentence, the second sentence, but it is just one sentence. It's a sentence with a list of ideas. We would not want to put a period where these commas are, because then we would create fragments, right? Incomplete ideas. And so we have two sentences here, right here where this comma is after communication. This is where we need to separate those two sentences. And so we would say that this is a run-on sentence. And so you'll see other examples like this. I would suggest that you read them aloud, because sometimes we can hear an error, or we can hear if an idea is incomplete. And you're able to take the quiz multiple times. So if you find that you're not happy with your score the first time, go ahead and take the quiz again. Okay. And then after Thursday this week, you'll have feedback from your classmates. This is when you should come to the discussion and read the suggestions from your classmates and consider what you would like to use to revise your work. I would also encourage you to use this bulleted list to help you revise your editorial. And so I'm asking you to consider, are you meeting the requirements? So first, did you write about the subject of water and focus on one specific issue? Next, is your assignment at least 650 words in length? So if you find that it's shorter than that, you may need to add more examples or details or explanation. Then consider your body paragraphs. And so are you including one topic per paragraph? Does everything in that paragraph support the topic? And so please note that when you begin a new topic, you should begin a new paragraph. Then consider if you have included at least one summary, paraphrase, or quote from at least one outside source. Remember, we want to avoid plagiarism. And so whenever you summarize something you've read, you're writing it in your own way and condensing it. You still want to give credit to the author. Or if you're taking a sentence from somewhere else and writing it in your own way, also give credit to the author. If you quote or use the exact words from another source, make sure to use quotation marks and then also give credit to the author. So we always want to give credit. We don't want to copy and paste things that we find online and turn them in as our own. So that would give us a 0 on the assignment. We also want to make sure that you're using MLA format. This means in the upper left corner of the page, you should have your name, instructor's name, class title, and date. And then in the center of the page, we want an interesting title. Then we'll have our paragraphs following that. We want to indent our paragraphs, use double-spaced Times New Roman 12-point font. So you'll see that there's a checklist to help you make sure you've completed the weekly tasks. And of course, I'm here to help you if you have any questions. Feel free to send me an email and we could talk about your editorial in office hours if you'd like some help. So I'm looking forward to reading your editorials. I hope you have a terrific week. Thank you. Take care.